What's up guys? In today's video we're going to cover how to use Trinity Force and Divine Sunderer as well as when to use them depending on team comps. Firstly, I would like to compare both of these items as it seems there is some confusion and discussion over what they actually excel at. First, we're going to talk about Trinity Force. The item gives increased movement speed as well as percent damage based on how long you are in combat. Your basic attack damage increases by 6% per auto attack, stacking up to 5 times. This means that it synergizes well with Fiora's playstyle as she likes extended trades as well as full stacking your Conqueror rune. You also get the Sheen effect, where after using an ability, your next attack will deal 200% base AD damage, which has a 1.5 second cooldown. The passive empowers all legendary items with 10% bonus attack speed. Divine Sunderer also gives the Sheen effect, where after you use an ability, your next basic attack deals 10% of the target's maximum health as physical damage on hit with a minimum damage equal to 150% base AD. Each Sheen proc heals for 50% of the bonus damage dealt. This is also on a 1.5 second cooldown, just like the passive on Trinity. The passive empowers all other legendary items with 5% armor and magic penetration. That being said, it is pretty obvious that Trinity gives much more stats as well as more utility and damage over Divine Sunderer. The only benefit Divine Sunderer gives currently is being able to do increased damage to champions with larger health pools, but that isn't even that great considering it's still bonus AD damage, which can be blocked with numerous tank items in the game, such as Frostfire Gauntlet, Sunfire, Turbo Chem Tank, and many other fun tank items that Riot put in the game. Some might argue that Divine Sunderer is overall better considering it gives a lifesteal effect when using the Sheen proc, but it honestly isn't enough healing to outweigh the overall positives of Trinity. Not to mention that Fiora also heals off of her passives, and if you guys watched my other videos, I highly suggest you take a secondary rune set, such as Resolve Secondary, or even Dominion. Personally, I've been taking the Resolve Secondary with Second Wind and Revitalize, and if you guys want to see more of that, you guys can follow me at twitch.tv/AnoyingBro5, because this is the setup that I've been using currently, and it's been working really well for me. Now, even with all of that said, some people still believe that Sunderer does more damage, which is not correct, as you can see here with these tests. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be splitting the damage on each dummy. The dummy on the left is going to represent Divine Sunderer. So we're going to do 10 auto attacks on the left, Divine Sunderer, and the total DPS is going to be 155 and 1,649. So on the right here, we're going to do Trinity. So we're going to see the total damage and the DPS comparison with another 10 auto attacks on the right side. And we're going to see how it compares. So, as you can see, 155 DPS on the left for Divine Sunderer and 227 on the right for Trinity. Now, the reason that this matters, and you can see there is a little bit of a difference in the total damage, is because you're stacking Conqueror while you're stacking Trinity. There's that synergy that we're talking about. So even if the trade goes longer than those 10 auto attacks, or the trade is long in general, you're going to be doing more damage over time. Again, Divine Sunderer, it's going to be doing damage by shredding armor, but it's not going to be doing overall damage. Now for the next test, what I'm going to be doing is just doing a full ult pop with a normal combo. You're doing ult W with Divine Sunderer. Now we're doing it on Trinity. And you can see the damage is kind of the same. The DPS is a little bit different. Trinity is a little stronger with DPS, but the total is right around that same margin, again, because you didn't have a long extended trade to proc Trinity. That being said, Trinity does still do more damage in those short trades. Now, this is a full build. This is a total of 10 seconds for each. So this is, again, a very extended trade. This is late game now. Level 18, full items. They're both going to have the same items. Now we're just going to switch out for Divine Sunderer. All right, another 10 seconds on the clock. So as you can see, the total damage on either side heavily favors the Trinity side. Now, the only argument that I could see people be making for Divine Sunderer is that you do get some lifesteal back with the Sheen proc. But again, it honestly doesn't matter at that point. Are you getting it for damage? What are you getting it for? And if the argument is that you're doing it for damage, and say you're going up against a tanky person, is it really worth losing this extra DPS in order to attack 1 or 2 tanks on the enemy team? What you can see here is there is a significant damage difference between both items. That's why if you're going to use Divine Sunderer, you have to make sure that you're using it on those tanky opponents. Otherwise, it's useless because you're losing so much more DPS on everyone else who's participating in the enemy team. Now let's jump into each playstyle and when you want to take these items. Ideally with Fiora, you want to take Trinity when you want to do tons of damage in extended trades, while also getting the increased movement speed to hunt down your enemy. You can choose to pair Trinity with normal core items that you find on Fiora, but you can also throw in Manamune for the increased damage. Combining these two in the current meta gives Fiora the best AD at the moment with ideal stats. Just remember, when you are going Manamune, to take the Presence of Mind rune under the Precision tree, as the extra mana increases your damage. Honestly, if I'm not going Stridebreaker, I will usually go Trinity, just because you not only get the AD, you get the movement speed, but you also get the attack speed, which is all the things that Fiora loves. Not to mention, again, you have the Conqueror stacking with the passive of Trinity, so it all really synergizes pretty well. And honestly, if Stridebreaker didn't exist, I'd probably still be just using this item as core, but I just love Stridebreaker so much, man. Now, you want to go Sunderer when there are multiple tanks on the enemy team. I often see that people go Sunderer by default because they think it's better than Trinity, which again, I don't know where that came from, or they go Sunderer when the person they are laning against is tanky, but both of these can cost you the game. We compared both items in the beginning of the video, which shows that Trinity is overall the better item to take when you want to deal more damage, and to go Sunderer to deal with one champion that won't even be that much of an issue. Considering you do true damage in the first place, you would just be crippling yourself in the long run. To wrap this video up, I personally feel that in the current state of this game, Sunderer is only useful if there are 2 or more enemies that have large health pools, as Trinity Force is just much more effective when it comes to damage and utility. We have to remember that Fiora is a dueler and is not meant to be a tank buster. She wants to be in the side lanes, and if she's in a team fight, she wants to be in the backline killing the squishy enemies. I feel like Sunderer does not cater towards her overall playstyle, and it's definitely not better than Trinity, as the stats just don't compare. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, as it supports this channel. You can also see up-to-date items and builds on my Mobifier guide, which I update daily. The link is in the description. Make sure to also follow me on Twitch, as I'm always live and can answer any questions that you guys have. And also, we talk about other random stuff, which is, pretty fun, and we do some cool events. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.